Hi, I'm Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Steven John Drew, and we're from Better Podcasting, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of the individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 395 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, March 15th, 2020. We do have a full house today. I'm Chris, and joining me, as per usual, my other cohorts, including one, Mr. Anthony Bachman.
The only thing the coronavirus can't stop is a podcast.
You know, there's some truth to that. I mean, we just need internet. So as long as the internet works, we're good to go. And they're taking off data caps temporarily, so we're good to go.
And there's no touchy-feelies on a podcast. No touching. No touching. No touching.
Speaking of no touching, we're also joined by one Willie D. Nelson.
That's what you think. And all my views are the views of Gonna Geek Network, and while we're at it, all of America and Canada, and for some reason Cuba. I don't know why. I don't fully know. Do they even have the internet?
Yes, but heavily restricted.
Oh,
Similar
more
to
or
China
less
in
than
some regards,
China?
I believe.
More or less than China, I wonder.
I don't know. I do know there are American tourists who have gone to Cuba and been able to access the government Wi-Fi there. So there are like plazas and stuff in Cuba where there's Wi-Fi, but you have to buy like a Wi-Fi pass from the government to use it, and then I imagine you're firewalled off from a bunch of stuff. What that stuff is, I don't know.
So what you tell me is they can't dispute me saying I speak for all of Cuba. So yeah, let's add that too.
I mean, as far as I know, they can't dispute you saying they speak for all of Cuba. Whether that's factually accurate or not, that's up to you to decide.
Well, and I'm also you know what? Just because I don't think they are going to disprove it either, I'll say North Korea too.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un loves you.
Well, what are they going to do? They're not going to see this.
I would have to go and look and see if we ever got any downloads from North Korea. I know we've gotten some from South Korea, but that's not obviously the same.
I mean,
we are banned in China, though. We do have that going for us.
Well, that's an auto ban. I mean,
Yeah.
Can you really count that?
The first time anyone cursed on this show, we were automatically banned in China forever. It's a permanent thing. But let's be honest. Do you really think anyone in China would care about our talking about Tim Tom
Wait,
and video
hold on a
games
second.
and movies?
I don't know. There's a lot of people in China. The percentages say that someone's got to care.
Hold on a second. I don't know any Chinese. How can I curse in Chinese? In either of their official languages.
You cursed in English, which is good enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
you didn't specify
Actually,
that. I don't speak
The
Chinese.
one that probably got us banned first was in the first episode. It's probably Adahay. That's the first one that dropped an F-bomb or a curse word. And then because of him, to this day, 395 episodes later, we're still banned in China.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
I see this as a win.
I see this as an absolute win. Sorry, I was channeling my inner
I know.
Mr. Hall.
It's what I appreciate about us is that we're banned in China.
We're probably banned in other places, too. We just don't realize it. Probably banned in Cuba, because Willie spoke for the Cuban people.
That'd be cool.
See, I do have a question since we brought it to China.
Oh, I'm a little scared, but quest away.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just, we're just going to jump right. We already mentioned the coronavirus, so I have a question about it. I do not get the relation for toilet paper to coronavirus. Can someone explain that to me?
I was going to mention something similar, too, because I had to go...
Because everybody stockpiling stuff is a shit sipper.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
What?
A shit sipper.
Shit sipper. They're all a bunch of
I
shit.
have never heard this term.
You need to watch.
You should watch The League.
Yeah.
I
Bunch of
have
fucking
watched
shit
the league.
sippers.
I don't think all of it, but I mean, I think have I?
It's a
watched
phrase.
Bunch of disgusting shit pig shit sippers. So they're all out there hoarding toilet paper.
So why people are actually getting it, I have no idea, because diarrhea is not one of the symptoms of coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's weird, the stuff that people are picking over. I mean, and it's everywhere. I had to go to the CVS yesterday because we were out of everything to drink that was flavored. So by that I mean we had plenty of water and coffee and stuff like that. But I was like, man, we need some soda or some flavored Gatorade, stuff like that. So I went up to CVS because it's the closest thing nearby, and there's nobody there. But the soda aisle is shared with the paper products aisle. All of the toilet paper is gone. There's not a roll of toilet paper anywhere to be found. And as I'm checking out, I go and talk to the cashier. I said, man, has it been crazy today for you guys? I'm surprised how quiet it is. And she goes, everyone came and bought the toilet paper early. She goes, but I've been on shift almost my 8-hour shift now. I've had 42 phone calls. People asking, do you guys have toilet paper in stock? And she goes, I'm so tired of it. She goes, did you see there's a new place called the Rural King, which is a new store that opened, a brand new place, opened in an old Kmart. They advertised on Facebook that they had toilet paper the night before. There were 1,500 people in line that morning before the place opened to try and get toilet paper. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is insanity. And I said, but did anyone buy the napkins or the paper towels? And she laughed at me. He goes, no, there's plenty of those. Like, man, I tell you what, if I was out of toilet paper, I'd wipe my ass with napkins, no problem. I don't care. So they're just buying the toilet paper. There's napkins. There's paper towels. Things like
It's because people are fucking sheep.
There's a problem with that. Is that a septic tank safe to do?
I don't have septic, so I didn't consider that. But that is a good question. I don't know. But it's been crazy. There's been runs on that, runs on bottled water, which...
All right. Your choice in words.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't going for a poo joke. I apologize.
Runs.
Sorry, Willie. That was unintentional.
Runs.
I see what he meant now, but it was completely not my intended purpose. But things like fruits and vegetables, plenty of those. I'm seeing bottled water disappear, toilet paper disappear, because I stopped at the grocery store on Friday after work because I need to pick up
Water
a few
makes
things.
sense.
It does, but it doesn't, because this isn't like a hurricane or tornadoes or natural disasters where your utilities are probably going to go out. There's no clear and present danger to your utilities at this point in time. Yes, I'm all about you should probably have some water in reserve all the time in case there is an incident like that. But you don't need to be that shit sipper, for lack of a better term, that goes and buys 24 cases of water and like, I'm prepared for everything. No, you're an asshole who's going to try and sell it for profit. Like the New York Times had this article about this dude that bought up like all the Purell in his town and was trying to price gouge it on Amazon. And they wrote this article that was slightly sympathetic to him because Amazon took his listings down. I'm like, good. That's exactly what they should do. He should not be trying to sell a $1 thing of hand sanitizer for $20. And he's like, well, really, I'm only making minimal profit because I have to deal with the shipping and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, you're an asshole who's trying to profit off of people's fears during a pandemic situation.
Yep.
I think I saw he had over 17,000 bottles.
Something like
and
some
nowhere to sell
ridiculous
it.
number because Amazon shut it down. So he's like, I'm going to try and sell locally. And I was like, the problem is there's people that are going to go and buy it because they're freaking out. And yes, I understand the freak out. I'm lucky in the regards that my wife and I had plenty of hand soap on hand because we run through it pretty quick. So we had two of those big refill bottles that are like that. And we had a fairly decent supply of toilet paper just because we tend to buy in bulk every 6 months or so. So I wasn't too concerned, but I can understand where you'd be someone who might be on more of a fixed budget and toilet paper isn't the thing you're buying each week at the store. You buy enough to get by, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, no pun intended, I realized as I said that, we don't have any more toilet paper. But you know, here's a pro tip, folks. Here's what you could do. Go on Amazon.com. Look up bidet attachment for toilet. You can install your own bidet on your toilet for about $50. Then all you got to do is just dry your ass off when it's been cleaned by the bidet. So worst comes to worst, instead of handling these price gouging prices of toilet paper, install a bidet on your toilet. And your ass will be clean that way too. This is a pro tip. Willie is not impressed by my pro tip, is he?
Well, that should just be common knowledge.
Willie,
Just get one anyway.
you'll be cleaner with it anyways than you would with your toilet paper.
Oh, I agree. That's why it should be common knowledge.
There you go. So that's the
It's
pro tip.
great advice.
We're here to give great advice. Unprotected advice, some may say.
I try to do that.
Yeah, see? Yeah, so there's been a huge run on that, but And then surprisingly, Diet Coke, there's been a huge run on, I noticed, because when I was at the CVS again, I was buying some soda for my wife and I, some Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke. They had one 12-pack of Diet Coke left. And I'm like, what the hell is with all this empty shelf space for soda? There's a run on soda right now? This is insane. I don't understand people and skewed priorities. And I could buy all the fruits and vegetables I wanted. Nobody's buying like bananas and apples or salad, anything like that. What?
Yeah, none of it makes any sense.
I don't know. I'm just happy that I could get the stuff I needed, and if this is the only thing that comes out of it at the end, maybe it finally kills off the handshake, so I can stop having to touch people when they want to introduce themselves.
Fist bump.
Fist bump, or elbros, as we called it on this show before. Bump elbows, stuff like that.
Oh, elbows.
Elbros. We used it on this show before, or like the foot tap, things like that. Because I don't understand, and this is my.
I'm from Idaho. I can't do the foot tap. That'll get me in trouble.
Why would it get you in trouble?
Larry Craig in the bathroom. That was my senator.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But
I can't do the foot tap. That'll get me in trouble.
If it's not under a bathroom stall door or a wall, you're probably okay to do the foot tap.
I'm just saying, don't invite trouble.
Also knows we're pretty soon. We're probably gonna have human sacrifices, dog and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Hopefully, I mean that's what I'm hoping for. Is some more Ghostbusters.
I mean, the thing is,
ghosts coming in.
You know, just like we talked about last week, be smart, wash your hands, don't hang out around people that are coughing all the time. Here's the thing that we didn't talk about last week that you probably should do. What's the dirtiest thing you carry around with you every day? Your damn cell phone. So clean your phone. You can take bleach wipes to the case.
Oh my God, I thought you were gonna say your dick.
Well, we weren't talking about you, Willie. We were talking about the rest of us.
Yeah, dirtiest thing Willie carries around is his dick. The rest of us, it's our phones.
Are we talking about old dirty Dick Nelson right now?
For the listeners, for the audio listeners only, I am giving a sly smile.
I mean, in all seriousness, with everything that's going on right now, there's no getting away from it. In fact, most of our news today is probably going to be related to fallout from a coronavirus and stuff like that, because it is impacting everyday life for everyone.
We're going to turn into Fallout?
Well, there's a possibility. Hopefully not Fallout 76, because it's pretty shitty.
Oh, yeah.
My lady showed me the nice tweet yesterday. Someone put up, though we had all talked about how bad 2019 was. And here comes 2020, and it just says, hold my corona.
Yeah, not wrong. I mean, there's been some funny memes that's been entertaining, and find entertainment in the stupid things that are associated with it. Like we said, just be smart about what you're doing. Don't go out there and court disaster. And there is a reason why they're asking people to limit activities of certain kinds. And if you don't have a reason to be out, don't go out right now. That helps reduce the spread. Yes, there's not going to be a lot of us that get it overall when you look at the infectivity curves and stuff like that. But all it takes is one person getting it and unwillingly passing it on to other people who are more at risk. We are lucky as we do this show. The three of us are three white dudes in our 30s and 40s. We're right in the middle of that curve for the people that will be least impacted if they catch it. That's not to say it won't suck, it won't make you really sick, but we have the least risk for keeling over because, as far as I know, none of the three of us are immunocompromised. We're all in relatively decent health, but we could carry it to someone who was. So just be smart. That's what we've said. Watch a bunch of movies. They brought out Star Wars like 2 days early on digital. They dropped Frozen 2 like 3 months early on Disney Plus.
Man,
So
it's
what you're
basically
saying
time to
is-
just binge Netflix.
Yeah.
So I can go to the movie theater and no one else will be there?
Well, it's funny you mention that because Willie and I, we've both talked about on this show, we are Regal Movie Pass members, or Regal Pass, or whatever the hell they call it. They have actually been, Regal, in addition to any other company that has your email address, has been emailing you their coronavirus plans and things like that.
Yes.
I've gotten like 6,000 emails, and that's
Even from GameStop.
Even from GameStop, from Taco Bell, stuff like that, which is saying, here's our stance on this. And from what I had seen...
Wait.
Yes.
Why does Taco Bell have your email address?
Because I've used the app to order before.
Oh, they do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've used the app to order before, so Taco Bell had it. And I lost my train of thought for a second. But what I was saying is I saw from Regal, I think it was on Twitter and on the Regal Unlimited subreddit, that they are instituting half full theaters. Like they're only selling half the tickets for a theater, and when you go to select tickets when you are at a theater where you can pick your seats, they've already blocked out certain patterns of seats so that there's a set number of seats between groups of people and stuff like that to try and limit spread of things. So things like that are starting to go on. Willie, you're looking at me quizzically. What are you thinking?
Meh. I like chaos. Let just fill it up. Let everyone come in. Let everything sort itself out.
Yeah,
We got to get to 2 billion people here.
No, this is not the way to do
this
it.
is not the way to do it at all, because all this,
There is, but we can make it happen.
Willie, this is only going to affect the poor and elderly and immunocompromised people. This does not really meet your goal for trying to thin out the world to an appropriate number of people.
I mean, it's trying to get the ball rolling.
Oh boy. Well, don't listen to Willie.
No, it doesn't have enough. It doesn't have a high enough mortality rate to kill off 2 billion people.
It is a ball rolling, a snowball effect. The year ain't over. Will not be the end of, mass catastrophes.
Well, and just because it goes away for a while doesn't mean it doesn't come back when we get into the colder months again, too.
Are we talking about herpes again?
No, we are not. Remember, it's still 12 to 18 months away probably from a vaccine or in addition to the flu virus to be able to help kick things off. So just be smart, like we were saying. Eat healthy. Don't put yourself in weird positions. Wash your hands. Wash your damn hands.
So wait, so this is COVID-19, right?
That is correct. It is COVID-19.
I mean, hell, it took WD 40 attempts to make a nice little lubricant there. I mean, they got time.
One of the other things I'd seen that made me really sad is, like I said, I went to the grocery store on Friday because I had to pick up a few things, and I was in the bakery section, and they had a sign up on the donut shelf that said there will be no more handmade donuts starting on the 14th because of COVID virus concerns.
Well, that's
glove-made donuts.
It made me sad. And I even saw, I think it was on Twitter, that Vegas is shutting down their buffets. Most of the casinos today, as we record this, on the 15th of March, all of the buffets are closing in a lot of these hotels and casinos. And there is actually a concern of, is Vegas just going to be shut down? Because it's kind of a place where you get a bunch of people crammed into small spaces.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, you can't bet on sports because the only sport we've got right now is PBA and UFC. There's no other sports going on.
Yeah. Yeah, the ACC
bowling.
was going here. Wait, great.
Just like golf, that's not a sport.
Yeah. Well, golf's not even going on right now.
I'm going to say if you have a movie on you, I would say you're a sport. Golf is a sport. You got Happy Gilmore.
That
you got
definitely
Tin
not
Cup.
the qualifying
Bowling, you got
factor of what
Kingpin.
isn't a sport.
Well, there's got to be other bowling movies, aren't there, besides Kingpin?
Bowling is not a sport.
I mean, you got the Flintstones.
It's a hobby.
Let's go with their little twinkle toes. I don't know where to go. Let's go.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so no sports.
doing it.
That's one of the things that I didn't realize, that this is sort of a sports lull for me, but I was getting ready for the tournament. There's like nothing going on sports-wise. And when I drive to work in the morning, I tend to listen to sports talk radio, and they're all kind of like, so we don't know what we're going to talk about today, other than the fact that there's no sports.
Talk about that.
Yeah, you can only talk about that for so long before you're like, we really have nothing
Yeah.
new to add to this.
Yeah, all their news is just the different things that are shut down. That's like they got nothing else going on.
Could talk about that one NBA guy. I don't even remember his name, where he just
Rudy
was making
Gobert.
fun about it. Yeah, and then said, "I'm touching all these mics," and then, oh wait, hey guys, remember that joke I did? Yeah, it's not so funny
He
anymore,
then
is
went
it?
and gave $500,000 of his own salary to help pay some of the Utah Jazz employees who won't be getting paid because there's no events going on. So at least that's a positive step. And there's been a lot of athletes I've seen mentioning things like that. Zion Williamson's picking up the tab for like a month's worth of salary for all the Pelicans workers or whatever that would be working game day events I'd seen. 19-year-old kid, #1 draft pick this year. And then Mark Cuban, billionaire, he can obviously afford it. But the night this was announced, like they interviewed him after the Mavs game, and he said, one of the things that I need to figure out and what we're going to do is find a way to take care of our Mavs employees who don't get to work on game day because there is no game day and things like that. So there are a lot of folks that we're trying to figure out the right way to ensure people that can't work because of these events shutting down can at least make a living and not go into economic fallout. I mean, that's going to be the thing that's going to be most interesting / difficult when this all emerges is not necessarily all of the people that get sick. It's going to be all of the people that have to declare bankruptcy or additional financial difficulty because they can't work, or they're having to make a decision between working or getting sick, or thinking they're sick and trying to make a determination as to whether they should go to work or not to be able to pay their bills. That's the stuff that's going to be daunting. Now I'm depressed.
Yeah. It's the week
I'm
for
still
it.
about normal.
Well, we might as well just double down on this whole depression theme by getting into the fact that, hey, there's a lot of things going on in regards to the coronavirus. And
There's a
fallout.
lot of things not going on.
Yeah, and how it impacts some of the things we love. So let's roll on into the news of the week.
Yeah.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
It's the news of the week. That part of the show where we run down what is in our minds some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up in the past few days. It hasn't been a full week since our last show. And then share it with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date. And like we kind of touched on as we were rolling into the news of the week, there's no getting around it. Pretty much everything news-wise, be it geek news, sports news, current events, politics, things like that, it's all centered around COVID-19, coronavirus, and things that are going on. So we touched a little bit in pre-show and at the start of the show on how it's impacting grocery stores and sports and things like that. Let's touch on how it's impacting the world of geekdom, because we have a lot of things that we talk about on the show, be it video games, movies, TV shows, comics, stuff like that. None of that stuff's unscathed by COVID-19. There's problems across the board. There's things that are impacted. I'll kick things off with something that should be kind of obvious that would be impacted. Pokemon Go. You know, it's a game where you meet up with groups of people. You go outside. You go from point of interest to point of interest to spin Pokestops, to do raids. Willie's looking at me really weird, so go ahead, Willie.
This is still a thing.
This is
It's
still very
going.
much a thing. They still make lots of money based off of microtransactions and the like.
People, get a new game.
Why?
Jesus.
I still play it. Why would, if you're having fun and you have a group of people that enjoy playing it, it's a lot better than the Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go they put out.
Fine. I won't be the fun sucker. Just do what you want to.
I'm
I
not
don't care.
saying you're being a fun sucker, but the Pokemon
But he
Go
is.
community is actually pretty solid for the most part. You don't have a lot of the toxicity you see in some other communities out there currently.
Overwatch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. So,
There's a reason I uninstalled that game.
yeah, let's roll back to Pokemon Go. So it's problematic if you want to play Pokemon Go, because they're saying, hey, everyone, you should minimize things you're doing outside to limit exposure. Don't go out unless you need to do stuff. And the whole premise of Pokemon Go is go outside and do stuff. Be active. Meet up with other people. Go on adventures. So in a statement to Polygon, Niantic had said the studio is currently prioritizing updates to Pokemon Go features and experiences that can be enjoyed in individual settings. So some of the stuff they did is incense packs, which you can buy, which attracts Pokemon to you. They are selling them at a 99% discount. You could buy 20 of them for 1 coin of in-game currency. Then they are doubling the length for how long they last. Normally they only last 30 minutes. Now they will last an hour. They have taken incubators and they have added they have doubled the effectivity of incubators, meaning you don't have to walk around as much. You don't have to get as much time in walking to hatch Pokemon eggs. And they are also setting up so that Pokestops are dropping gifts with more frequency. All of this is ineffective until further notice. In addition, they have postponed the previously planned Abra Community Day and other real-world events. So basically, they're trying to set it up so that you don't have to make a decision, or you don't have to be dumb. Like, I'm going to play Pokemon Go when there's a pandemic where everyone's telling me to limit my exposure outside. According to Niantic, they said, while we've made these updates based on the current global health situation, we also encourage players to make decisions on where to go and what to do that are in the best interest of their health and the health of their communities. So, let me go slightly cynical here. This is something they have to do to continue that the app continues to ensure the app continues to thrive and people keep paying money to play when there's a situation like this going on and people are going, I don't want to put myself out there. You make it so that they can continue to play the game from the comfort of their own home with seeing minimal change from how things worked before. You can still catch plenty of Pokemon just by using these things that we've sold you for dirt cheap, and they keep people playing the game and pumping money into it. That being said, it's a smart decision. I mean, it's smart morally and business-wise, I would argue, so kudos to Niantic.
Sure.
That was a very well thought out and reasoned comment, Willie.
I try.
You really just give zero craps about Pokemon Go, don't you?
Oh, that what we're talking about still? What? Why are we still talking about that?
We've only been talking about it for like 4 minutes.
It's been 4 minutes only?
Oh,
Oh,
What the hell?
Friendly reminder, Willie used to play Pokemon Go fairly regularly, too.
that's true. It is true.
Yeah, and then I saw its true face.
Its true face, which is to make money for Niantic and the Pokemon Company, correct?
The missteps they have all taken, there is no steps towards greatness that can be achieved because of those backsteps.
Steps towards greatness. Now, what would be greatness for Pokemon Go, Willie? I'm very confused here. Please illuminate me.
I'm just talking out of my ass. And this is also the mouthpiece for North America, Canada, and Cuba, and possibly North Korea. I'm still unsure about that yet.
At least I got to admit it. I don't know.
And so, from the mouthpieces of all that, fuck you, Niantic.
Wow. I completely disagree with your stance on it, but I respect your ability to have said stance.
Yep.
Let's go to someone who might have some more rational thought on this. Bachman, what's your take on Niantic's steps here?
It's a smart business decision. It's the only thing that really makes sense for them to try to get people to still play their game, which is their only way of getting income. So, like, if people stop playing that game altogether, it's going to cost them a lot of money because, Pokemon Go was huge. Like, there was a while, like, a good chunk of a percentage of the world's population was playing that game. So they must have seen, a steady stream of income. You got a virus that's telling people to not go out, not be in groups, and that's what that game is designed to do. Like, it's going to hurt their pocketbook, which, yeah, it's a good idea for them.
Right, and just to point something out, as soon as this article loads, just so Willie's aware, Pokemon Go is still a thing. In fact, 2019 was its most lucrative year ever, according to an article I just pulled up on The Verge. So it's continuing to be a thing, and it's making more and more money.
Yes, all cell phone games have whales. Whoop-de-dee-doo.
It brought in $900 million in 2019 through in-app purchases.
This does not mean it's good.
For those that are in audio, Willie was making an odd hand-waving gesture, but not the jerk-off gesture. It's more of just like a looping gesture.
Yeah, finger looping like whoop-de-dee-doo.
I'm just saying. I mean, you go back and look. 2016, 832 million in-app purchase. 2017, 589. 2018, 816. And 2019, 894. So they're making a boatload of money. People are still interested in playing.
Wait. What kind of boat are we talking about here? We talking about a schooner?
Super yacht. Super yacht.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad. I don't know what I'm talking about here in regards to super yachts, I'll be honest.
What would you call your yacht if you got one? What would you name it?
What would I name it? I honestly don't know. What would you name it? And then we'll see if I can come up with something while you're talking about it.
It's gotta be a pun. That's for sure. How dirty do I want it to go?
You're going dirty. I already know.
I don't know. Do I want it to just be a could this be dirty? I gotta think on this. This just requires time. You gotta give it some breathing room.
You could just go with the classic, which is Bodie McBoatface.
Yachting McYacht face.
There you go. Well, here you go. You could call it Unsinkable 2. The number 2.
All right. We don't do that humor here.
I thought that one was pretty good.
You're going to have a poop boat.
Well, no, I thought they only have a deck.
What about,
I'll just call mine the Molly Brown.
What about the Usain Boat instead of Usain Bolt? I'm literally just going through a list I found on Google to see if any of these are approved. Error 404, fish not found. That one's kind of funny. Let's see. You could call it Drug Money.
Oh, I do enjoy that one.
Evidently, the man that owned this boat was a pharmacist, so literally his money is drug money. That's pretty delightful.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Everyone's done a drug, prescription or otherwise,
Oh,
or just
here,
off the over the counter too. Let's throw those in there.
Willie, this might be your boat's name right now. The Wet Dream.
No, I'm just gonna call it Motion of the Ocean. Let's be done with this. If I had a gavel, I'd bang it.
There you go.
You could also call it the Bullship instead of bullshit. The Codfather.
I don't fish. You know what? I don't even like going on the ocean. Why would I have a yacht? I'm not gonna have a yacht.
How about Ship Happens?
All right, I do appreciate that one, even though it's a used one.
You could go with About Time.
Ooh, Canadian, eh?
Yeah.
A boat time.
You could go with
Oh, we all just over here sitting on the couch. You know,
you could go
hands
with
out.
What Are You Looking At?
Oh.
I do appreciate that.
Let's see. You could go with Sodally Tober.
And you know what you could do with this yacht? Where's the coronavirus not hit yet? Let's make this in. Let's
West
take
Virginia.
this true and
That's about it. When you
Yeah,
look at the
so
United States.
we got cases here in Idaho now.
We've only tested 21 people, though, so that doesn't mean it's not here.
well, I mean, I can say I am in Greensboro, and that is where the ACC tournament got canceled. So yay!
I'm trying to come up with some more boat names here. Some of these are terrible.
Why are we still doing this?
Because you started. You go with Peer Pressure, where Peer
Yeah.
is spelled P-I-E-R.
I do like that. God damn it!
Up here you go. Master and Baiter. As in baiting a hook for fishing. Master Baiter.
I hate that. I like that.
You don't have kids that you know of, so this doesn't work, but you could go with The Kid's Inheritance as the name of your boat.
That's what they think. I want to have a Viking. I want a Viking funeral in the yacht.
You call it the I'm taking it with me.
Yeah, there you go. Seize the Day, where seize is S-E-A-S.
No.
You're not a fisher, so Real Therapy doesn't really work.
Oh God, no.
You could call it Liquid Asset.
That sounds more like a poo joke for Willie.
Yeah, that wasn't my intent.
Maybe yacht my bitch up. Oh no, so smart.
No, here might be one Willie likes too. Wasted Semen. S-E-A-M-A-M-E-N. Because you're a bunch of drunk semen.
Wait. What about the panty wetter?
There you go. You could go with that one. You could go with the Shameless Hooker.
All right. We get the gist.
Here's Harambe McBoatface. I don't know why I like that one so
Harambe
much.
McBoatface. Wow. All right.
Got to keep it in season at all times. Harambe will never die in our hearts.
Well, if you're doing it as a yacht, you just call it the big slice of life.
You know what? I hope that kid's still getting bullied in school.
You could name your boat She's Wet Again. Is
I
what
hope
is
that
on
kid
here.
gets killed by a gorilla.
I wouldn't go that far.
Right?
I would. That kid caused a creature to be killed for no reason. It's that kid's fault and bad parenting. Hope the whole family gets eaten by that crazy swarm of Thailand monkeys that are out searching for food.
Oh, this is not one that Willie would like for his boat name, but you could go with Sail Hydra. I like that one.
That's pretty good.
Willie
I
doesn't care.
do that. You do the sail hydra, and then you do the half cap, half hydra symbol on the hood
Right.
across the top of the boat.
Why would you do the
Be
half
nice.
cap when you should do the half shield?
You could do
Because
that.
I like my
the real
idea better.
It doesn't. That doesn't make
Here you go,
sense.
Willie. You could name your boat Constantly Wet.
That just makes it sound like I piss myself and constantly doing it.
How about Bast Mouth?
I do enjoy that one too, but we're still on this.
That's all I got. This list only had 80 some odd, and I didn't want to read them all because some of them were just terrible. Sail Hydra is my winner. That's what I would name my boat.
All right, we're just gonna call this episode the Yachting Club. How's that?
I'm putting it on paper right now. The Yachting Club it is. Well, Willie, now that I have talked all about boats and completely bored you so that you care about nothing that's going on, let's get you more engaged in the show by throwing the news to you. What do you got for us, Mr. Nelson?
I don't have news.
The
have
coronavirus ate his
speculation.
news.
I have speculation, and you're not wrong. There's been some speculating going on, everybody. Some heavy speculating. Some people running some numbers. And this whole ordeal could delay the next gen of consoles. Xbox Series X. Am I getting that right?
You are correct.
God, why is that such a hard... Why they got to make it so hard? And then the PlayStation 5 will probably be might be delayed because of all the stoppages of everything, people getting sick. It's a pandemic, I hear. And I do not like this one bit. Not at all. I need my ray tracing today, god damn it.
Immediately is what you're saying. You must have it right meow.
Oh wait,
Right.
it's in real
Right
life.
now.
Shit, I forgot. That's all, guys. This was just rumors and speculation.
So,
Just rumors and speculation. We're
Similarly-
not going to go another 20 minutes for yacht talking here.
I wasn't planning on, but similarly, analysts are also predicting that the next iPhone, the next Pixel phone, a lot of this tech that we've been waiting on, that should be debuting soon, that is made in China, obviously, is going to get impacted by coronavirus as well. That's not for us to be like, oh man, this fucking sucks and bitch and moan about it. It's more just an awareness thing to be like, hey, the
Yeah.
global pandemic tends to delay the release of a lot of consumer products, and arguably for good reason.
Mm.
Unless you're Willie, who needs his ray tracing right now, and will have to have it on TVs that can't actually handle the 8K spec that these consoles put out.
Well, I can appreciate they're doing that. It's just future proofing. That's all that is.
Yeah, I agree too. But yeah, so there's no actual confirmation on anything, and we'll probably hear some stuff this week, I think it was, because Microsoft is going to be debuting more stuff that they were going to do at was it GDC? I think it was supposed to be this upcoming week. They're going to release it out on YouTube or on Twitch or something like that, do a live stream of upcoming news regarding the future of the Xbox Series X. So we'll see what happens. We'll see when/if Sony, Microsoft, and anyone else starts announcing that, hey, we're going to have to push these dates to the right. And it's legit. You have seen it. Like if you need to get your iPhone repaired right now, for instance, and you take it to the Apple store, in a lot of cases, they may not have the right parts because parts aren't making it over here right now. Same thing for if you're getting your Pixel phone or your Samsung phone repaired. Parts are hard to get for those stores that do the repairs currently. So it's interesting.
That's something I've never done. Gone to an Apple store
Why have you
in my entire life.
Well, we should
So I
make
don't
sure you
care
go to
about
an
Apple
Apple store
products.
and get a picture of you just sitting there, thumbs up, smiling because you're so happy to be in the world of Apple.
No.
Oh, you love it. You're going to get you some AirPods and a new iPhone, and you're going to be a full convert to the cult of Jobs.
Why are you doing this to me? Why do you hate me today? I don't
What am I doing?
understand.
What am I doing that makes you think I hate you?
You want me to go to the Apple store, man? I don't want to suckle from Steve Jobs' dead, decaying dick. All right.
That was
Whoa.
some flowery language.
I mean, it's just what you're doing if that's what you do. They have a monitor stand that costs $1,000. Why is a monitor
And wheels that
stand?
cost $250.
That don't lock.
That don't lock, so your desktop just starts rolling across the level
So your
floor.
dumbass computer will just roll away.
It makes
Hold
me
on a
laugh, though.
second. Why is your the floors in your house not level.
Some of these places where people work for visual effects and things like that, you might not have fully level floors because a lot of these are like converted warehouses and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of them it's just a concrete floor that's poured. It's not always perfectly level after it's been painted a couple of times.
Fair enough.
Oh, I knew it was fair. I was just waiting to see if you'd acknowledge it.
I always do if I see it.
And that's what we appreciate about you.
We do appreciate it indeed. I'm sorry you're not super excited about the delay of you going to an Apple store. We're going to make it happen, though.
No, but our speculating last week became a reality with E3.
Out.
Well, we had that confirmed at the end of the show, I thought.
Oh, I thought it wasn't. I thought they didn't actually fully confirm it till was it Monday or Tuesday?
The official confirmation didn't come in until the next day, but all of these sources that reported it as we were wrapping the show ended up being correct.
Yeah. So, rumors and speculation.
When you've got the developers that would be there basically telling you not to go because it's going to get canceled, it's a pretty strong rumor, though.
Yeah.
Remember, Devolver Digital was one of the first companies that came out and basically said, "Yep, not happening."
Yeah, a bunch of I think Lexington Comic and Toy Convention has been postponed. Emerald City Comic Con was canceled. A bunch of people were doing ECCC online. So like comic book artists and stuff were staying home and just doing commissioned sketch covers and stuff that they're going to end up mailing to people. So like, the artists that were still planning on hopefully going to those cons and making money are still trying to do the same type of stuff. They're just trying to do it from home because they're not, if the con's been canceled, like those artists, most of them, I think, at least got refunds. But I mean, some of them, like, they look forward to going to those huge conventions because if you do sketches and commissions all weekend, like, that's a lot of money. And for a lot of those people, like, that's a good chunk of their salary for the year.
Did they delay it or did they cancel it? I thought they were trying to push it off until later in the year.
I thought Emerald City actually got canceled. Let me check.
That's what I was trying to look into.
So many.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's been going on right now in regards to conventions and events like that I wasn't 100% sure whether it was a delay or a cancellation. Because I believe at one point I had read both. So that doesn't really help.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell. That was one of the ones where I saw where they had talked about...
Directly on their website, it says Emerald City Comic Con returns in August. Get your fill August 21st through 23rd, 2020. So they just shifted it, it would appear.
Yeah. So for right now, it looks like that one's been delayed. But yeah, like a lot of the conventions are getting delayed, so it's just crazy. There's so much going on. There's so much news about things that actually aren't going on. I think is the big problem.
Right. I mean, speaking of things that aren't going on, that kind of leads us right into your news next. And you've got kind of a look of how the pandemic and things getting shut down might impact some of the things we love to watch.
Indeed. I pulled up a bunch of articles because honestly, the homepage for the Hollywood Reporter is basically just a treasure trove of all the damage being done to basically all productions of everything and everything that's in the theaters due to the coronavirus with people not going out. So one of the articles, we have a trio of new nationwide releases coming in behind expectations, not shockingly, and Onward facing the biggest second weekend drop in Pixar's history. It looks like with people staying home and nobody going out, Onward will stay at number one, projected to only make $12.5 million for the weekend, which would be a 68% drop, which would be the steepest drop for a second weekend for a Pixar movie in history, which would be worse than The Good Dinosaur, which fell 59%. And yeah, it's not that Onward's a bad movie, it's that people aren't leaving their homes, people aren't going to the theaters. And yeah, so they got I Still Believe, Bloodshot, The Hunt, all projected to open way behind expectations. 15 to 30% drop according to the analysts seeing the numbers that came in on Friday. And yeah, seeing like the stuff that we got for the Hollywood or for the fantasy movie league, like it was big. Like there's very, very low numbers by comparison, even for, with it being March, which is usually not a huge month, but still like there's usually okay numbers. It looks like they also did a cancellation on the big premiere that they were going to do in London for Milan. March 12th, the London premiere of Milan was wrapped when the film's director, Nico Caro, received the call everyone was anticipated. So Disney pulled the tent pole and like scuttled plans for like a giant European junket. So like you got this huge movie with Disney doing their next remake live action of another one of their cartoons, which seems to be all Disney does now is they just make live action versions of cartoons, which is It seems so weird.
This is the new creative thing.
Yeah.
Which is instead of coming with new properties, we'll take our old properties
Yeah.
and we'll make them live action and potentially remove things that made people like them.
All right, so you hear that? We're gonna have a new song of the South.
That might be
I
the
don't
one
know-
that they don't do.
I don't know about that one, but I guess anything's possible.
Yeah, the MGM's taking a bath because apparently No Time to Die has been moved out to November now, likely costing $30 to $50 million, considering that ad buys were made in advance. Make goods are not a given, as several studios are in the same boat, having pulled ads at the last minute. Quiet Place 2, abrupt cancellation 8 days before release would cost Paramount some $30 million. Like, it's just, all of these things that are being stopped, rescheduled, whatever. Like, it's putting up, a delay on a lot of stuff and just hurting the stuff that's already in the box office. Marvel Studios is delaying Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Apparently, there's a delay for The Little Mermaid that was filming in London. They halted production on an Elvis Presley biopic. We got Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson stuck in Australia because they were working on a movie. They've been confirmed positive for the coronavirus, so they're being held in captivity, apparently, waiting to see if they get healthy. Like, just all these productions. And then along with the big Hollywood big budgets, we also have Netflix, ABC, CBS. Basically, all the major studios are shutting down production of pretty much everything. If it's live action somewhere and if it's a group of 50 people getting together to make a TV show, it's basically put on pause. So, I mean, anything that was, they talk about the morning show, the Foundation, Lacey's Story, Servant, For All Mankind, like all the Warner Brothers Television Group stuff, like basically just everything is being put on delay, pause, or canceled. Like, it's just giant groups of people are not going to be getting together making things. So anything that has been promised on Netflix, on Hulu, any upcoming shows, like, we might see delays just across the board for everything, which means any of the movies coming down on VOD like this week, next week, are probably going to do great because they're going to be the only new shit coming out.
Right. I mean, for instance, I saw on Twitter The Flash wrapped up the season early, doing only 20 out of the 24 episodes they were going to do. NCIS did a similar thing, and I mentioned that because we might not watch that show, but it's a ratings juggernaut for CBS. They're going to take a hit having 4 less shows there. So there is a lot of that kind of entertainment right now, especially the stuff that's heavily produced and takes a lot of time that they're filming now that we're not going to see. So what does that mean? Prepare yourself for a glut of dumbass reality TV to start filling in those gaps, because they've probably got stuff in the back catalog, and if they don't, they can film it quickly when all this stuff starts to let up.
And with a tweet from Birth Movie's Death, we actually see the strength of the coronavirus, because it actually took down the big one. It stopped Batman. That's how bad this virus is.
No, it stopped Vin Diesel, because Fast and Furious 9 got pushed off a year.
Oh, Batman's bigger than Vin Diesel.
I don't know, man.
They've temporarily shut down production on the off-delayed, postponed, date switched already Batman. So, like, this poor movie has just been kicked in the teeth. Like,
so
it might be so bad, but as long as it eventually comes out, like, I want to go see it just to, like, give it a hug and tell it thank you for finishing the job.
Can this be the excuse why we still haven't gotten any new forward momentum on the Flash movie they've been promising us for 4 years now?
I like I said, when they announced another director on it, it's like, I'm not going to believe there's a Flash movie until I see a trailer. Until you show me an actual trailer, I don't believe that DC's doing a Flash movie. And let's be honest, they didn't give us a Flash in the Justice League anyways, at least not one I've ever read in the comics, so I don't know what the hell they're doing with that character. Weird-ass Batcave autistic Barry Allen. That has never been a version of the Flash, ever.
Does the movie version have to be a comic book version?
Well, let's see. If you want to do a version of something that's been popular, you do the popular version of it. Like, there's no reason to not do a version of Superman that doesn't reflect the Superman comics. That's why Christopher Reeves was awesome and made tons of money. And if you want to do a version of the Flash that has no reference to the comics, then don't fucking call him Barry Allen. Don't reference a source and then completely ignore the source.
I think they're also in a difficult position, and I've said this on this show before, that they want to do a Flash movie. They brought Barry Allen into the Justice League, but let's be honest, Grant Gustin's version of Barry is very faithful to certain incarnations of the comics. And they're like, oh shit, we've got a TV show going right now that has this character. We're using the same character. We really need to find a way to differentiate ourselves. And I think they might have pigeonholed themselves a little too much by trying to make their Barry different than Grant Gustin's Barry.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Why'd I say Gary?
Gary, hey, that's fine.
It's
He
Gary
could be Gary
Allen.
Allen.
It's his unknown
Yeah.
twin brother who was struck by lightning.
Gary
at the
Allen
exact
is
same time.
the weird autistic Flash that doesn't know how to save people.
Side note, we're also talking about entertainment and stuff like that. There are various reporters in the sports world right now who are starting to say, here's the direct tweet, the NFL has informed their biggest host hotels in Vegas that the draft won't take place there April 23rd through 25th. Industry sources tell me many Vegas hotels are planning to scale down their operations beginning on Monday, limited to a couple of restaurants, guest rooms, and casinos. So if the draft moves out, that event's not happening, which gets us back to the question of, when you've got something like this going on, people aren't necessarily going to Vegas in droves. What's the impact on Vegas? We're already seeing an impact because people can't gamble on sports because there's really the PBA and UFC. And yeah.
It's gonna be that state's gonna take a hit. Like they're like the amount of money they make in 2020 is gonna be really hurting. I did see one positive tweet though. Ken Burns just actually put a tweet. See what at 8:30. Said, with events canceled and so much closed, I asked at PBS to stream baseball for free so we can participate in the national pastime together. Watch at the link below or on any streaming device. Please look out for those with greater needs. Play ball. I'm not a huge fan of baseball, but I do like the idea that Ken Burns is actually like promoting something positive during all of this. So that's kind of nice.
It's a great documentary if you like baseball. It's a long documentary series if you like baseball, but it's great.
I don't doubt it. Ken Burns has been known to do some long documentaries. So.
Right.
Yeah, at least that's something to watch. And if you're stuck at home on a Sunday and looking at another week and not going to work or telecommuting because nobody wants to touch anybody or see anybody, hey, go watch a really long documentary about baseball.
Right. My favorite
Yeah,
is
you learn how to round all your bases.
That's right, Willie. No one wants to touch you.
My favorite
Get
was
used to it.
the stuff I was seeing on Facebook in one of our local Facebook groups that's about community events and stuff. This woman's like, well, if my kid's out of school for the next 3 weeks, I need to find some fun activities to go do. What are your suggestions? And everyone's like, are you dumb? Their kids are out of school because of these concerns, and they still have schoolwork to do. What do you mean you want to take them on crazy adventures?
I've heard people talk about like these kids that are like staying home, but then like all the kids are just hanging out at like one house anyways.
Yeah.
So you still got a group of like 20 kids hanging out in a place. Like that's not really avoiding the concern of going to school and being in groups.
Well, hold on a second. I don't hear anyone complain when Rick does it to Morty, but now all of a sudden now it's a problem.
Adventures.
I was figuring this woman asking this question is probably also a woman who didn't vaccinate her kids, but what do I know?
Something between a lot and not a little.
I can go with that. That seems fair and accurate. But I think that does wrap up our news of the week this week. You guys have any additional things you want to touch on?
Don't touch anything. Wash your hands.
Or be an agent of chaos and don't do any of that. You know what? I'm not gonna back you doing that, but I'm not gonna back you doing that.
Well, did you see JetBlue gave a dude a lifetime ban from the airlines because he thought he might have coronavirus and didn't tell them and flew with them?
Yep.
I can't remember if he thought or if he actually did. I
think he had been tested, and then like I don't know if they had the results, but I think the article I saw said that he'd been tested and then didn't report it and got on a flight and basically endangered everybody on that flight with the recycled air in an airplane. You jackass!
That was dumb.
So what do you do as soon as he got off and got his test results? He just yelled out, "Hey, I got it! Whoops!"
He's probably the same kind of dumbass that was on the plane. It was like, "Oh, here's what I did. I'm so funny."
Yeah.
We were at we had to go to
People
urgent
are
care
awful.
this week for nothing related to coronavirus, anything like that. But while we're sitting there, this dude comes in and keeps complaining about coronavirus, and I can't find toilet paper, I can't find water, and then sees the sign on the wall that says, if you have coronavirus, here's the symptoms, and here's what you need to alert us for. He tries to make some big joke. He's like, oh, reading that sign, I guess I might have coronavirus. I should tell you all. And starts laughing, and literally everyone in the waiting room, like in unison, just kind of turns and glares at the guy like, you effing idiot. What are you
You're
doing?
a dick.
And then he doubles down and keeps trying to make coronavirus jokes, and everyone's just like, what the hell is this guy on? He had to be on something. He was a dick.
He forgot one of the big rules: play to your crowd.
Yeah, know your audience.
Know your audience. Joking about a pandemic at a doctor's office, probably not the smartest move.
Probably the right place to be, though.
I mean, yeah, when someone beats your ass, you're right there for treatment immediately.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do this.
Oh, one thing-
Remember, freedom of speech only protects you from the government.
Yes.
Not anyone else who could throw a punch.
One thing we did forget to mention that is closed as all of this coronavirus pandemic goes on. Universal Studios, Hollywood and Orlando, and Disneyland and Disney World, all closed.
Yep. Yeah, I think the last thing I saw on Disney was they would close the park, but like downtown Disney was still open, like the shops in downtown Disney. But I mean, at this point, even those might be getting closed. So, I mean, it's basically just anywhere there's giant gatherings of people is shutting down so that we don't have giant gatherings of people, which kind of makes sense when you're trying to avoid a pandemic.
Sure does. So that's where we are with things now. I would love to tell you guys who are watching this now or listening later, no, we're not going to talk anything about coronavirus next week, but the more that goes on with it, the more it impacts our day-to-day lives, including the geeky things we like. It's probably going to crop up in the news. There's probably more things that shake out about it. And I'll apologize in advance to anyone that follows me on Twitter because I'm fascinated with observing things and sharing facts about what's going on with coronavirus. So I know my timeline,
Facts.
Yes, I know my timeline has been a bit full of commentary and retweets of interesting statistics, things like that. So my apologies, everyone.
So you're saying your Twitter is full of facts?
Well, things that arguably where are you trying to get at? Are you trying to get at by pushing fake news? Because that is not my intent. But I cannot research every single statistic I see at some point in time based off of who is sharing it. You have to have some level of trust.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it is hard to like research every tweet you retweet.
When it comes to things like this, I try and do follow on work and things like that. But
I just saw a good one. Bender at the end of the Breakfast Club, like throwing his hand in the air, and someone put underneath it, "We are Gen X. We're used to social distancing. We invented it. The latchkey life." That's right. I'm a Gen Xer. I was a latchkey kid. Social distancing is how I was raised.
I did. I forgot one thing I did want to share. There's a comic book store in New York, in Brooklyn, called Anyone Comics. With the lack of toilet paper, they had put a board outside, just a chalkboard, where they written, "Out of toilet paper, we have 90s comics, $1." And they're 100% right, because a lot of 90s comics are pretty shitty.
In that case, if you're in Boise, Idaho, Captain Comics has 50-cent bins upstairs, and there's thousands of them. Plus, yeah, go get you some reading material before you sequester yourself in your house. I did that this weekend. I think Thursday I went and picked up my comics for the week. Got the new issue of Decorum by Jonathan Hickman. Very strange book.
It's Hickman. It's going to be strange.
Yeah. It's Hickman. It's all the graphic design stuff, and it's about the galaxy's greatest assassin, and she's very strict about being proper and being polite. And so it's a very strange take on an assassin. But yeah, it's Hickman. It's weird. It's world building. It's also a huge, oversized book. I think it's almost 40 pages, and it's $4.99. So it's a $5 book, but it's a big book for $5. So it's a good one to take a shot on. I'm interested enough. It's supposed to be a 8 or 10 issue mini. I'm going to get up the rest of it because it was cool looking, and the art is insane.
Would you say it's so big it'd be a $5 foot long?
It's almost a foot long. It's like a $5 10-incher. Not bad. We
inadvertently started kicking off a little bit called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys, watching live or listening later, just what kind of geeky and or nerdy things we've been getting into. Bachman shared a little bit about this upcoming Jonathan Hickman comic we've got going. So let's wrap up the show by sharing with you guys what we're getting into, how we are entertaining ourselves as we are going out in the world a little less, which ironically I don't go out in the world that much to begin with, so really it's not changed my day-to-day that much aside from going to work. But Bachman, continue. What you been getting into, sir?
I've been playing a little bit of Apex and a whole lot of Dead by Daylight. Still working on trying to get the last way through the tier 4 of the new tome in the Rift Archives. Doing all the challenges. Last night was pallet stuns on killers. I think I had 5 of those to do, and it's ridiculous. Like whenever you need to do them, like you can't do them. And then the match after that, where I needed to fall from great height, I had a huntress that just kept eating pallets. Like I hit her with like 4 in a row. But on the challenge when I needed to drop pallets on somebody, like couldn't get killers that would like run into a pallet at all. It took me like 6 matches to get it done. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the updates to that game, the changes they made with the Chains of Hate update, polishing the system, fixing a bunch of bugs. Like the game's running better, it's loading faster. Matchmaking has been quicker, even though some of the matchmaking numbers are just god awful. Again, I did my first Deathslinger match last night, and I'm like a rank 14 killer. And the first match I got was against like a rank 2 rank 3s, a rank 4 and a 9, and they just destroyed me because like I'm not that good at this game when it comes to killer. Like, especially, I mean, and lately with the archives and stuff and playing with friends, they play a lot more. I've been playing a lot more Survivor lately. So like I actually got into red ranks for the first time with Willie, which was kind of fun. And it's like, holy crap, I actually made it down to rank 4. Rank reset happened on Friday the 13th. Bam, I dropped back to rank 9, which, you know, is about where I should be. But yeah, it's been a fun game. And yeah, the Deathslinger is such a change to the game because yeah, having a long distance killer that can hit you and pull you to them definitely changes a whole lot of the meta in Dead by Daylight. So it's been fun. It's been interesting. And I'm just enjoying like working on a new killer, actually spending points on him because he's now the one killer I don't have all the perks for. So once I get his perks bought, and Zarina, the new Survivors perks, who I think 2 of her perks are really good. One for sure for the people's a very cool one. Being able to run up to somebody and basically hand them a health level and like it's instant is a really cool way of like changing how you can move stuff around the game. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. And yeah, just watching some Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, working my way through the 3rd season of that. Caught up on pretty much all my other Netflix shows, and I've just been, you know, whenever I feel down, I watch The League. So I'm rewatching that again. I'm like, I think I'm on season 4 again, and this is like my 4th or 5th watch through The League. But yeah, it makes me happy. That show's like so full of stupid, funny
show.
shit sippers. Yeah, it's the best. Give me some Rodney Ruxin any day. Nick Kroll makes me laugh. That's my favorite character I think he's ever done is Ruxin. Like he's just the best. So yeah, watching that, playing some Dead by Daylight, which I'll be probably playing some more of that this week. So, and more than likely, I'm probably going to start streaming again. Like I'm been doing a few streams here and there, but yeah, I'm going to start doing a more steady stream schedule for my Dead by Daylight, letting people watch that game. Because yeah, it is just a fun one to watch too. Even if you don't like being terrorized and playing it. Because yeah, sometimes it's a good jump scare game. Like, yeah, it's one of those games that'll get you sometimes. Man, that's what I'm going to get into.
I will go next on things. I celebrated Pi Day yesterday, 3.14, with a pizza that I bought at the grocery store that was on sale for $3.14. Yes, living the very exciting life here.
If you think about it, a pizza is just the pie chart for how much pizza you have left.
Effectively. I like it, Willie. I like it.
A pizza is a pie chart for how much pizza you have left.
Hey, it works out. I think
Yeah.
Willie might have been dropped off the call, so as we work on getting him reconnected, I'll continue with what I've been getting into. He's still showing up on there, but we'll see what happens. Other stuff I've been getting into. Watch the most recent episode of Star Trek Picard. It is an expositional dump of just here's all these plot points we've been saving, holding up, giving you an idea of what's going on. They dump like a ton of the backstory, and you're like, okay, I'm intrigued. There's 2 episodes left of Picard. I have greatly enjoyed it. This week they brought a character back that I thought was done for the entire series, and I was surprised to see it. And the week before they brought back Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis as the Riker family, Riker and Troy. And that episode was delightful. It was the right way to do sentimentality and to tug at the heartstrings. And I want to see more of Picard hanging out with Will Riker because it was fun to see. I'm really curious to see where they go with Picard going forward. And I have a conspiracy theory for something they could do, but because it delves into spoilers, I am not going to touch on it on this show. If you want to know what that spoiler theory, or what the conspiracy theory is rather, of what they might do, send me a tweet at the Chris Farrell on Twitter. No, this is not me trying to shamelessly self-promote. And I will share the theory with you then. I just don't want to spoil anyone who's watching this show live about what's going on with Star Trek Picard.
The real question though is how much beard do we have on Jonathan Frakes? That's the real question.
He grew it out.
How bearded is the Riker?
And he's making pizzas for everyone. He's literally making pizza in this episode.
He's like a cook.
Yeah, he's cooking all the dinner and stuff for the Riker Troy family, and then Picard and a character that is with Picard when they are visiting there. He's like making pizza and making dinner and all sorts of stuff, and it's just absolutely delightful. And he calls Picard out on his bullshit at one point in time, and it's kind of great. And you kind of realize, oh yeah, these guys spent, like, character-wise, Picard, Riker, Troy, 20 years together. They're a family, albeit a different kind of family, a self-chosen family, but you kind of buy into it. And as they're leaving at the end, it's the stupidest thing ever, but it actually made me a little misty-eyed. They literally have a group hug, the three of them, and you're just kind of like, oh man, it gets me right here because of the nostalgia trip and the fact that how they played those characters interacting. You don't believe the fact that those actors haven't worked together in 20 years. They just fall back into that groove, and you're like, wow, I can see how what I had seen on screen when the series wrapped could have evolved into what we're seeing now. And I'm like, I want to see more of what happens in between. It's been utterly delightful. I had my skepticism about CBS All Access in general, and I really do, outside of Star Trek Picard, but I'm glad I picked it up, if only just to watch 10 weeks of Star Trek Picard and to put it on hiatus until another show comes up that I want to watch. Other stuff I'm getting into, watching All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. It's one of my guilty pleasures. I really enjoy it. It's brought me back to professional wrestling. Even though Chris Jericho is not the champion, he's still one of the best things they have going right now because he's building up a bunch of stars around him with his stable called the Inner Circle. He's still one of the best on the mic, and he's one of those stars you want to have there because he doesn't make it all about him. He uses him being a draw to build people up, and he gets to ad-lib on the mic. Yeah. So we got a line on Wednesday night when he was talking about the upcoming Blood and Guts pay-per-view where they are effectively bringing back WCW's War Games, where he said, and I quote, we're going to beat the hell out of you pumpkin-headed dipshits, end quote. And I was like, this is great. I love it.
Pumpkin-headed dipshits?
Yes.
That sounds like it could be racist.
I don't think it was. It doesn't come across that way. He was talking to the Elite, which is a group of cis white dudes. So, not really.
I'm just saying it sounds like it.
Well, sometimes that's the best type of takedown is something that sounds like it could be vaguely racist that isn't.
Yes, it's true. I've also, in regards to professional wrestling, been enjoying seeing what's happening with Matt Hardy. For those that aren't familiar and haven't been following, he's a free agent. He's left the WWE. And if we go back to like 2006 when he was working for TNA, he had the whole Broken Matt gimmick, which went over huge, was arguably the biggest act in professional wrestling. It didn't really work in the WWE. We won't get into the reasons of it. But starting 3 months ago, he started a YouTube series called Free the Delete, where it was all about him trying to bring back his Broken Matt gimmick. And it's all scripted out. It's obviously fake, but it's a really interesting story he's telling about how he's trying to bring back Broken Matt and why he can't. And 2 weeks ago, it started with him making a phone call to someone saying, I need your help. You're the only people that can help me. And it ended with the Young Bucks pulling up in his driveway saying, hey, Matt, what's up? And him reverting back to the Broken Matt gimmick sort of and be like, Bucks of Youth, I knew you'd come. And this week, the most recent episode that came out on Wednesday, the penultimate episode, was the Bucks of Youth super kicked him so hard they separated Zenith, which is his Broken Brilliance's spirit, from him and buried him alive by his request, leading to this upcoming Wednesday, the finale of the Free the Delete series, where arguably the Broken Brilliance of Matt Hardy will be resurrected. And there just happens to be a brand new episode of AEW Dynamite that same night, where it is rumored that Matt Hardy will make his debut as the leader of the Dark Order. So a broken Matt Hardy as a cult leader leading the Dark Order. I know if you don't watch professional wrestling, you probably don't care, but it's fascinating. Yes, I do realize Matt Hardy's 45 years old. He does too. His goal is not to go and be the champion, anything like that. In fact, in interviews, he said he just wants to do creative things and help build up talent. And arguably, that Broken Matt character could do a lot to build up talent around him, because even though it's been 4 years since that gimmick hit its pinnacle, there are still people that go around going, delete, 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 and yelling obsolete just like he did in character, and it's still incredibly over. So I'm really curious to see where they go with it, and I think it is at noon Eastern time on Friday. The final episode of the Free the Delete series hits YouTube, and only like 2 to 3 minutes each. So if that is something that interests you, Broken Matt Hardy and that gimmick, it's literally just freethedelete.com. Takes you to the 11 parts of the series he's aired so far. And it's been incredibly creative and weird. At one point in time, he's going into the Lake of Resurrection, as he calls it. And every time he comes out, he's a different one of his gimmicks from the last 25 years. It was incredibly funny. I was greatly entertained by it. Willie literally gives no craps. I can tell by the look he's giving me right now. But that's okay. That's what I've been getting into.
Oh, no, but go on. It's all right.
That's what I've been getting into, though. I'm legitimately geeked out about where this is going to go with the reintroduction of Broken Matt Hardy and how that folds into AEW. Which, side note, they also stopped touring and they're just doing their shows in Jacksonville right now, it seems like, due to coronavirus issues. Just like SmackDown and Raw is coming directly from the WWE Performance Center, which is their small venue they use for NXT, so with no audience. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I just saw a video clip of Cena and one of the dudes like arguing in the ring, and it's just the backdrop is just empty seats, and it seems just so weird.
It was funny because I guess one of the international feeds, they still took their commercial breaks and stuff like that, and there was a women's tag team match, and they went to break, but one of the international feeds came back before they were officially back, and they were just kind of sitting outside the ring talking because there's no live crowd to perform to. So they literally took a break in the middle of the match, and the international feed shows them all getting back in the ring and setting up to continue the match.
Whoops.
It was pretty hilarious. But
wait, are you telling me wrestling's fake?
Who'da thunk it? Who'da thunk it?
No,
But
can't be.
Oh, I did forget one thing I've been getting into. I apologize. Jedi Fallen Order kind of fell by the wayside because there's been a sale on some games on the Switch. So I bought a digital copy of Super Hot, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. For those that are not familiar, Super Hot is a game that is an FPS game, but time does not move unless you move. So you kind of have to be strategic about how you move about a room, taking people out, taking their guns, shooting people to make sure that you don't get hit. So like the bullets actually freeze when you stop. So you can see the trail of the bullets. You can figure out what path do I need to take to try and make sure I'm not shot. It's incredibly fun. I finished the story mode of it. Now I've unlocked the endless mode, and I just start going through rooms. I'm like, oh, I only killed 12 people this time. I need to restart, trying to break my own personal records. I've had a ton of fun with it, and I did not know until Willie told me yesterday this is also a VR game, and I think it would be incredibly fun in VR.
It is the best fun in VR because you get to punch and shoot everyone in the dick, and it is so satisfying.
Nice. That does remind me, though. I had gone back to playing Jedi Fallen Order, made it back to Kashyyyk for the second time, climbed the Tree of Life, which was an awesome sequence in that game, and I'm finally back on Dathomir going through that. So I think I'm like roughly at least halfway through the game, if not more. But yeah, the giant bird and the Tree of Life thing in Kashyyyk, like climbing like this giant avatar-sized tree, like that was a really cool sequence. Like that game is so much fun and so well done.
Do you want to know how far you are into it?
Yeah.
You're probably about 80-85% through the game.
Okay. I figured I was at least that far. Yeah, because like I think most of the planets now I'm like in the 80 or 90% of the completion trail of the 4 planets. So I figured I was getting pretty close. I just wasn't sure exactly how far I was. But yeah, the storyline really picked up and got a lot better. I'm digging it. Like it's a fun story. And yeah, I did the giant bat fight as well. So like there's some nice, cool Star Warsy parts of the stuff when the storyline takes forward and goes forward in that movie. Like it's fun stuff.
And just a heads up, You're Only God who's watching live, I did tweet you my theory on Twitter right now since you did ask. So check your @ notifications. You'll see what I think might be happening in the final 2 episodes of Star Trek Picard in regards to a certain character. But that's what I've been getting into. Willie, I would say wrap things up for us, but I will say finish things up for us. What have you been getting into?
Not a whole lot. I had some insomnia since our last episode. And I spent probably most of those waking 42 to 43 hours playing Dead by Daylight. and jumped a lot of tears in the battle pass. What do they call it? The Rift? Yeah, the Rift.
Yep.
Yeah, battle pass is what it really is, though. Yeah, so I made a major jump. Bachman was ahead of me for a while. Not anymore. Sorry,
Yep,
Bachman.
the Willie has caught up. I'm still doing good. I passed tier 40 last night, so I'm a lot closer to actually, because I think there's like 16 days left. So yeah, being at tier 40 at this point with over 2 weeks left, I'm way further along in the Rift Battle Pass this season than I was last time. Last time I had to buy like the last 20 levels to finish it off. So I'm hoping this time I might actually not have to buy any levels.
And still, getting a red rank is not that hard. It's just keep playing. The pips will come. You do have your terrible matches, and I had some terrible matches this morning. Some very terrible matches. One of my favorite pastimes is when you jump on a gen, someone jumps on it, they mess up their first skill check, and they're like, "Oops, well, I'm out of here," and then I get chased. That's always fantastic.
Yeah.
Bachman, I believe you've done that to me at least once or twice.
It's happened once or twice. Oops.
Like, why am I on this hook? Oh, yeah. Why is this whole game going to shit for every survivor? Oh, that's right. Because Jane messed up her skill check. Yep, and...
It happens. Not everybody can be perfect all the time in Dead by Daylight as a survivor. It's tough.
And I also had a match where I was going against a hillbilly, and I was literally face camped as soon as I was put on my first hook. I don't know why. It wasn't a toxic to the person or anything. But so he was literally just standing there looking at me, not doing anything. Just standing right in front of me, didn't move from when they hooked me.
That's weird.
And then and at the end of the match, I had to ask him, I was like, so what was with that face camping? And the message I got back was, I went AFK after I hooked you. And I was like,
Jesus.
So I just left it there. I don't need any more answers from that because it's not going to go anywhere.
No.
But other than that, it's been a whole lot of Dead by Daylight. And
Well, I mean, as long as you're having fun.
who told you I was having fun?
The implication, if you're playing a game, is that you are having fun with it. Yes. You don't.
Most
hate
people that play it hate it.
So you're hate playing it.
I mean, not me personally. Who told you this?
I'm just making an inference based off of what you're saying.
You're having a whole lot of collusion going on over there behind my back about my lifestyle.
Are you
Collusion.
channeling Ruxin right now?
Sounds like
Possibly.
That's fair.
But I'm not Jewish, though.
I mean, Ruxin's not really that Jewish. Only
That's
when
true.
it's convenient for him.
only during the Christmas episode, really.
Wait. It can be convenient for me?
I am
Mazel
not,
tov.
I am not taking that bait.
Yeah, I'm not responding to that one at all.
Not taking that one. So, looking at the
I
time,
am.
it is time for us to start shutting this thing down. A friendly reminder, we do stream the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast every Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over on Geeks.live. That is the official streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. While you're there, please feel free to check out some of the other great podcasts on the network. We've got something for you, regardless your geeky, nerdy tastes, I think. Seriously, we've got all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. That being said, we're about to shut it down. You guys have any final thoughts for us before we get out of here?
It's an awesome one. Kevin Scott just tweeted, started this bad boy this afternoon. Jedi Scout Fighter from Star Wars Lego. It's a good day to go do some Legos. Stay inside,
Nice.
build something.
I'm going to go against my normal grain and say I'm just going to remain silent.
Are you ill?
Whoa.
Wow. Well, on that note, Willie, going out on a silent note, I don't even know how to take that other than just say, I guess we're getting out of here. Be smart, like we've been saying the past couple weeks. Wash your damn hands, and we will see you all next week for another installment of the podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us, atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com. on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.